Hi, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Mosaic of Flavor live stream. My name is Carrie. I am City Market's Assistant Outreach and Education Manager. I'm the one who's been sending you all the emails. Thanks so much for joining us for tonight's live stream. If at any point during this you have a question, you can type it into the chat box and then I will pass that along to our instructor. If you're joining us a little bit late, make sure to hit the live button down near the play pause button. That'll catch you up to where we are rather than making you start watching from the very beginning with the little intro slide. Without further ado, will turn things over to Anna to tell you more about the Mosaic of Flavor program. But again, at any time, if you've got a question, make sure to put it in that chat box and I can pass it along. Thanks.
Good evening. Welcome to the Mosaic of Flavor cooking class. We are streaming live from the South End Kitchen at City Market. My name is Anna and I'm one of the volunteer coordinators for the program. This is a really special partnership between City Market and USCRI Vermont, the U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants. This program started in 2011, and each month we have been offering a class taught by a different refugee instructor. And the goal is to be able to use food and cooking to be able to learn about the new American communities here in the Burlington area, as well as these amazing dishes and traditions around food from these different countries. So before we begin, I just wanted to make sure that everybody received the handout. This is the recipe packet that came by email today. And there is the full recipe and instructions as well as a map at the back. And our instructor tonight will be using that map and referencing, telling us about where he's from. Just a note about the recipes. These classes, traditionally are taught by instructors who don't need recipes. Rodrick knows everything by heart. And so it was the other coordinator and I who tried to write up this recipe from a test cook that we did. So I'm telling you that just to know that definitely watch what he's doing tonight. The recipe is going to try to be as accurate as possible, but definitely prioritize what you're seeing with the instructor, and that sometimes the measurements can vary from each time it's made. Tonight's instructor we're really lucky to have Rodrick tonight. He is a very accomplished chef. He actually has gone to culinary school and has lots of training, has worked in many different restaurants and kitchens. And I think we're really lucky to have an instructor like you come and teach us this evening. I wanted to just read a little bit about Rodrick's bio, and then I'll turn things over to him. So Rodrick Kiesse is originally from Congo-Brazzaville and moved to Vermont with his family in 2010. An avid cook from an early age, Rodrick pursued his culinary studies at the Center for Technology in Essex and the New England Culinary Institute, and has worked as a line cook at the Inn at Shelburne Farms and Waterworks in Winooski. Rodrick has participated in numerous cooking competitions and won first place for culinary skills in a New Hampshire competition. Rodrick is excited to teach us how to prepare one of his favorite Congolese recipes using techniques he learned from his family in Congo as well as in culinary school. And I should also mention Rodrick has a very active social media presence with Facebook and Instagram, so you can follow some of his other cooking pursuits there. Rodrick, thank you very much for tonight.
Thank you. Welcome. My name is Rodrick. So I'm from Congo. So today I'm going to show you my technique, how to cook like saltfish and Safou and Yaka, and some red sauce on side. And we're going to have a garnish, fenouil. So thank you for everybody watching me. So I don't have a lot to say. Thank you very much. So now we're gonna start to show you what we're gonna make today. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna need, for now we're gonna need like a half cup of olive oil. We're gonna need another half of vegetable oil.
And are you doing the combo for different flavors to make sure it doesn't burn? Why do you do both instead of just one?
excuse me.
Why are you doing two different oils instead of just one? What's the difference between if you just used two?
Each oil has different flavor.
Great.
So now I'm gonna make sure the pan is hot, and then I'll put oil. That's what I'm gonna use for saltfish. So the time the oil is gonna get hot, and then I'm gonna start bake like a tomato. That's what we're gonna use for red sauce.
Can you tell us the correct pronunciation for the name of this dish? What do you call it? It's Makayabu?
Makayabu is like saltfish.
It's saltfish.
But Makayabu is like pretty much like village, like how we call it, pretty much from based on village. But people call we have too much languages in my country. Some people call like poisson salé, that's in French. We say poisson salé. So some people say Makayabu. So pretty much we use two different ways to call that.
Yeah.
So Makayabu is pretty much like from village, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna dice tomato. So I'm gonna put that in the pan. That's the pan I'm gonna use. Put that inside.
Is this dish that you're making for us tonight something that would be like a special occasion, like a party food, or would this be sort of an everyday, you might have this once a week, or?
It depends. I might change. So I have a lot of recipes, so we can learn, taste something new, pretty much. So I might change, or I might do some days I might use the same one, or most of we do different change like new recipes like most time. So after I'm gonna cut all tomato, and then I'm gonna double check if the oil is hot. So you see more to be more hot for a little bit. So the oil, as long as you just hold your hands like on top, you can feel like the hot. You can tell like if the oil is hot, because before you put the saltfish, you make sure the oil is very hot. So anytime when you fry anything, the thing you have to make sure is like the oil is hot, and then you take the whatever fish what you have, you just make sure the oil is hot, and then you put that way it's gonna be oil and the fish on top. Because if you put just one now, you put oil and then take the fish, you just put it right away, the oil is gonna go on meat or whatever meat or fish is gonna taste like different.
Greasy.
Yeah. Okay, so I finished dicing my tomato. I'm gonna crush garlic. So another technique is like we do like this. So crush it like this in half. So just to give a flavor.
When we did the test cook for this a while ago, the kitchen smelled so good because of the roasting garlic and tomatoes. I'm so excited for tonight as well.
Yeah, and we need teaspoon for lemon juice. Yep. So So that's teaspoon you add on tomato and garlic.
And we have the oven preheating to 350.
So the oven should be like 350 before you put an oven. Anytime when you bake anything, you have to make sure the oven is hot, and then after you put something, it's gonna keep the time what you need. So I just need a pinch of ginger. I don't need too much, just to give flavor. So peel that.
Fresh ginger and fresh garlic, two of my favorites.
I know, it's gonna be so good.
So you peel that. So you cut that like just pieces, and then you add tomato. And you need bay leaf, only one. And you're gonna need oil. So for the oil, pretty much we don't need a lot of oil on it. So make sure if you're watching, like you have to make sure to go all step by like to watch this, to see it step by step, and then make sure if you whatever you're cooking at home, so you make sure like we go on the same time. Or so now we can add like oil. Yeah, we add lemon juice oil. Like we can add like a onion. So now I can feel the oil is hot. So this is saltfish. So you make sure just put something small. See how it's gonna say. So you need more time again. So I just add more heat.
And tell us where you got the fish.
Yeah, pretty much this saltfish came like we do like, like we take a fish, you cut it in half, and then you take everything inside of fish, and then after you put a lot of salt, you leave that like outside when it's sunny, pretty much, or you can do that in oven too. So you just put like for 3 hours, like low heat for 3 hours, and then after that, when it's gonna be dry, but pretty much it's a little bit tricky to do that in oven. Doesn't make it keep like the good temperature, but mostly we do like you put like or you take like you put a lot of salt, maybe 2 pounds, depend how much how many fish you have. So you put a lot of salt on it, and then after that you leave that outside. It's gonna be dry, and then for a week, and then it's gonna be dry. You can feel it, and then after you can feel it's gonna be hard, and then you take that, you leave that in water for like overnight, and then in the morning you cook that like 3 times or two. So and then you can taste, you can feel like there's no more salt on it, and after that you can start like putting like whatever you're gonna do, soup. Some people do soup, some people fry, some people make soup, some people make it depends how you're gonna cook that. So I just show you pretty much how you can do that. You can figure out how to make like saltfish, just like regular fish. You just cut the fresh fish, you take everything inside, you put salt, you leave that, you put a lot of salt, and then you leave that for a week outside when it's sunny for a week, and then you're gonna see a lot of different. Okay. So now I'm cutting like red onion.
think we might have had a typo in the recipe. I think we have the onion in the ingredient list and forgot to put it in the instructions, so we're definitely gonna add that red onion in there.
Good job.
Again, go by what he's doing, not by the recipe. Are these common flavors in Congo, or are you sort of adding your own touch to a traditional recipe with these flavors of the ginger and onion?
Yeah, pretty much. I like to be the way like based on me. I like to have two different flavor, and then after you're gonna ground that, and then you saute with vegetable, because this onion you're gonna add after you ground you ground the tomato, everything, and thyme. So we need another thing that we need is like thyme. So you add thyme on it, and then add the oil. You don't really need too much for this. Okay. So this is good now. So you put, you're gonna need is like black pepper. You don't need a lot. And salt. So just add a lot of the salt on it. And then rub this, rub. And then you're gonna take this foil. So you cover, you make sure you cover the foil. It's gonna have steam inside. And then you bake that for 15 minutes for 350 degrees for 15 minutes. So for now, we're gonna check the time. Okay.
5:50.
5:50. So by
6:05.
6:05. Yeah.
I'll give you a reminder.
No problem.
I'm
Thank you. I
the
will appreciate that. Okay. So and now I'm gonna clean my area, and then I'm gonna dice the onion. Yep.
I love watching different instructors cut onions. Everybody seems to do it differently for their own purposes. It's great. It's learning all sorts of new techniques.
Yeah. So the thing you do when you cut onion, you take all the corner, and then because the onion is folded like this way, so the thing you're gonna do, because it's folded like this way, and then you're gonna go opposite. So that way you're gonna have like dice pretty much. So you follow this line here. You have a line. You can see like you have a different line. You just follow that line. That way you're gonna have like the size you need.
See, this is great. This is opposite to the way I learned how to cut onions, but it's going to make exactly what you need.
So all the time when you try to hold like a knife, that's another thing. Let me just put some fish, and then that way, this one's the sign can tell you you're ready to put like saltfish. So you need to hear that sound.
Spitting.
So, well, you can just use like a hand, but make sure like you're okay. So we don't use tongs, but pretty much as we cook, as we cook, we don't use like a tongue, but this one is like something people watching how to use like tongue. So.
And if the fan kicks on, I'm sorry, I apologize in advance. It did when we did the test cook, and I unfortunately can't control it, so if you hear some loud fan noises in the back, they'll stop eventually.
So after that, you see like this, you reduce a little bit.
You've lowered the heat now, okay.
Lower the heat a little bit.
So for those of you watching at home, I'd love to know where you're watching from. It's really fun when I see people put into the chat where they're watching from. I know we're reaching a nice wide audience with these events. And I'd also love to know if anybody's cooking along. We can design these demos, but I know sometimes people try to buy the ingredients and cook along. So if anybody's just watching or if anybody's cooking along, I'd love to know how it's going.
Okay, so now I'm gonna dice my onion. The other tricky part at the end when you try to dice onion, so sometimes the last part is hard to find, like to be diced very well. So you make sure again, you double check, you make sure it's like all is in the same size. If your knife will go this way, you go not the opposite side. So also another thing I will tell you guys when you learn like how to cut like onion. So you have to hold the knife like this way and then protect your finger when you cut something. So make sure your hand is moving like this way. For example, let me just demo something real quick. So I just use this part like this. So you hold something like this, and then you hold the knife like this, the way I hold, and then keep going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Because I see a lot of people get in trouble for cutting like something pretty much. So another is a lot of people get a lot of mistakes. Like they don't know how to cut something. So make sure you hold the knife very well.
We have someone watching from South Burlington, someone watching from Burlington. Someone asked what kind of fish works best, and we're specifically using the salt fish from the African market. Could you make this with fresh fish, or does it only really work with the dried salted fish? Like, could you substitute a fresh fish in this recipe and have it work, or would it not really do the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're specifically using, again, that dried salted fish from the African market that's been soaked in water to remove a lot of that salt and rehydrate it.
So if you need that, you go to African market, like North Street in the corner, so that way you can find this fish. I know most of people know African market is the only one we have here in Vermont. Pretty much, if you need the same fish, use saltfish, the same saltfish, we're cooking one now. Okay, so now let's take a cup of oil, onion. So I'll put down side, so I will have my mise en place. So sometimes it's a little bit tricky. Anytime, like it happens to everybody when you fry something. So sometimes the oil comes to you, so it's like what it is. You know, we don't have a choice. So make sure just like you move a little bit away from that, so the oil doesn't come to you. Okay. So that's the onion already diced. So I'll put down side. So when I need that, when I will make a sauce, and then I can take that to add on sauce later. So I know still more time for saltfish. So I'm gonna use the same pan I used to use for saltfish. So I'm gonna throw this one, like the end of this one, so we don't really need that. I'm gonna store that. I'm gonna just use the same pan to put saltfish on top. So another thing I use like a towel, because when the saltfish it's gonna come from pan, like saute pan, it's gonna have oil. So when you put that on top of towel, so it's gonna make sure the oil stay on a towel. So when you eat, you don't eat a lot of oil on it. So already done with this. So the last part we're gonna wait, we're gonna blend like the sauce after 15 minutes. So we're gonna check the thing we're gonna focus more is the saltfish. And then after it's gonna be done, we're gonna put down the tray. And then another thing we're gonna do, we're gonna fry like a Safu. It's like a little bit sour on it. It's like a little bit sour. So this one pretty much came from Africa. It's like a thing like 5 or 6 countries have this one in Africa. It's not all the country in Africa. So I know a couple of countries have that, like the Safu.
We called it, I think in English it's called African plum fruit, but it also has a few other names. I think butterfruit or bush pear. It seems to have a different name in each country.
Yeah, each countries I like your question. That's another thing. Each country has like different names. Like us, we call that Safu. That's how we call that. And then if you go to another country who has that, we call that different names.
Yeah. And is it a fruit? Technically a fruit, not a vegetable?
It's a little bit tricky because some people call that fruit, some people call that vegetable. Because it's like between.
Yeah.
It's like between.
It's not like what we would call plum or sweet.
It's hard to tell. It's like between.
Yeah, it's a different variety. It's not a plum, an American plum.
It's almost like with Europeans calling it courgette versus zucchini, with different names for the exact same plant.
Right.
Yeah. So another thing you're gonna do, you flip, you check on bottom if it's like this is crispy. When it's crispy, you flip that, and then make sure don't go too hard to the pan. Just go like on top. Make sure you go gentle. Like you flip that.
Oh, yeah, you can see that nice brown.
Yeah, nice brown on top. And then you make sure if you check like this, don't flip. Just leave a little bit more. Need more to be more hard. So you take this, some piece, you flip.
Yeah, we found through using this hot plate for a lot of classes, it does have hot spots. So you'll probably find some that are already done and some that need a little bit more time.
Yes, all doesn't like get crispy in the same time. So some it takes time, some so pretty much it's a little it doesn't go all like at the same time, flip at the same time. Some you're gonna see is crispy, some is not crispy. So you have to wait for a little bit, make sure when it's crispy and then you flip it.
Someone else watching from South Burlington. So we got a lot of locals for this class. Great, awesome. You're right in the area to go pick up all this stuff at the African market. Yeah. It's already smelling good in this kitchen. We've got a nice fried fish smell. We're getting some of that tomato. You've got about 5 minutes left on your tomatoes. Now thick.
how many minutes do you think we left for?
You've got about 3 minutes left on your tomato time. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have a watch with me to check the time, so you're helping me pretty much check the time for me. As long as I'm not 15 minutes, that works for me.
That's my job. I ask questions and I keep an eye on time.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
I like it.
So,
Do you do a lot of cooking for yourself too?
yeah, I cook a lot. Pretty much if you go on Facebook, I have a lot of pictures and video I post for food. So if you wanna go online or Instagram, you can see like stuff I post on my page, pretty much.
What's your favorite thing to make? Like if you had to pick one thing that you love, your favorite.
You know what? I like your question. So pretty much, it's a lot. Everything looks good. It's like you choosing all the kids you have. Which kid you like the most?
Which kid's your
Like
favorite?
for me, pretty much it's like I don't have a favorite, pretty much.
Okay.
I don't have a favorite, but it's hard to choose like which one I like the most. So now I will check again. So I know it's just a few minutes left, and then I'll just check real quick to see if it's crispy. Yeah, this one looks not too bad. So another thing is when you fry that, so when it's crispy, it doesn't break apart. So it's easy to flip.
Yep. I remember that from the test cook. The pieces were really nice and like held together and
Yep.
crunchy. I know I always have trouble with fish flaking apart when I make fish. I'm very bad at making fish. Does anybody have any questions at this point? I haven't seen any really come through the Q&A box, but any questions for Rodrick about what he's making or any other thing? We'd love to hear them. Or if everyone's just engrossed and watching along with bated breath, that's fine.
So we're almost there. Here. Let me check.
So we're checking on the
Yep.
tomatoes now.
Right.
What are you looking for? How do you know when they're done?
Pretty much when it's done, I don't need to be, for the,
Yeah, how do people know when it's ready?
when it's ready, you pretty much just need like 15 minutes to be steam on it. So all like ingredient like go together, and then when you're gonna grind that, the longer stay in steam is produce more like more liquid,
Yeah.
and then more liquid, and then all combination, and then it's gonna go together. So the longer spicy ginger get cooked, it's gonna be easy to give this what do you call flavor to each one. So and then after that, when you ground that, and then all go at the same time. So you just need to heat that first before you ground out, and then you're gonna fry that, like cook that again. So after you're gonna cook, and then we're gonna add tomato paste and onion, and we're gonna fry Safu. So we're done. Yeah.
Yeah, when we first did this test cook, I remember thinking that you're not really roasting them, you're steaming them. You're not at that high temperature, you're keeping the foil over them.
Yep.
You're not trying to get that caramelized flavor, you're just trying to get the liquid in
Yeah,
there.
just we just cook for a little bit, so we don't need that. So we go to wait for the time.
Yep. 6:05.
Thank you very much.
So we're gonna go grab the tomatoes out of the oven off camera. Be right back.
So I'm gonna open that here, and you can see.
It can go on the cutting board, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm trying to I don't want to use that again. So that we can go here. Yeah, we don't want to use that anymore. Okay, so now we have more room too. So after you're going to bake that, That's what it's going to look like.
Oh, that's great. Can you show them on the camera? Yeah.
Yep. So after you bake that, that's how it's gonna look like. And then after this one, I'm gonna brown that, and then I'm gonna make a sauce, and then I'm gonna add tomato paste and then onion, and then we good to go.
It smells so good in here right now, especially with you just taking that foil off.
So we're gonna make. Okay. Gonna double check. Oh, wanna double check. The one is already done, and then I'm gonna flip that. So when you see like this, you already saw a little bit. So this one is already done. So put that here on top.
So you can see
So
that nice
this one is a golden brown.
gold brown color.
And you check this one's good too, ready to go. So this one is still more time. So this one is not almost. This one, that's good. That's what we need. This one is good too. Okay, so yeah, so that's how it's gonna look like, golden brown. So as long if you see some is already done, you put on the pan, and then so that way the oil is gonna stay on the towel. So that way when you eat that, you don't have too much oil in your mouth. So you're gonna do.
You're just barely on camera at that corner, yeah, so perfect.
So push that a little bit. That way I'm gonna brown, you can see.
Yep, you're on camera, perfect.
So you take the tomato like that you bake. You just remove like bay leaves and then thyme. Just put down the compost. So you don't need that again. So the flavors already stay here. Okay, so now that goes here. So the only thing you're gonna move, you don't need thyme again, so it's already has a taste, what do you call it, flavor over there. You just move that bay leaf so you don't have to brown that, because that will. So pour that like compost, and after when you're done like this, just the juice you add down again on. You make sure there's no more juice left on the pan, and then after that I'm done like this. I'm gonna go put the over there. We can watch that later. So the thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cover that.
Yeah, and I'm going to mute us on our end when we blend, just because the microphone is right next to the blender, so we don't want to burst anybody's eardrums. So you'll hear us go quiet for just a little bit, and then I'll make sure to turn us back on when we're done. Okay? Be right back.
You don't have to brown that for long, like just for a couple seconds, and then you just leave like that. So
You almost made like tomato soup.
Yeah.
yeah. So this is good. This one is done. So after it's done, I'm gonna move that. Thank you. So make sure going brown. So this one's good. This is good. This is good. This is good. About a couple minutes, we're going to finish the saltfish. So I'm gonna do after that. I'm gonna make a sauce, and then after that, on sauce is gonna go garlic powder. Garlic powder. Oh, the onion powder. Yeah, I found that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just put that. It went behind over there, so it was hard to find it. So now this looks good because it's big chunk. Okay. So it happens. Yep. Okay. Yeah. About like 3 minutes, I will move this. Maybe 2 minutes, and then we can start like making sauce, and then we're gonna fry it. So Safu doesn't take long time. So it just take like two, 2 minutes to 3 minutes. So I will show you how to cook that. If you go to Africa market in the North Street, so you can find that too. So he sell saltfish and he sell like Safu.
The Safu, you're really just warming it up, right?
Yeah, it's already cooked, it's already soft.
Mhm.
Just warm it up, just like for a couple minutes, like 2, 1, they depend.
Is there a season for Safu? Is there a time of the year?
Safu is not the season you can put Safu. It only, it depends on you. But it's not something harder, so you just put like salt and oil, and a little bit of water on it. So just a little bit of water, like a teaspoon of water, or it's gonna be good. So we done this. So after you done, golden brown. So you move down the side. So we're gonna drain the oil. So we're gonna just use the same oil. So that way the oil has a salt on it, and then we're gonna just take the chunk, and then that way you don't add like too much like salt on again on oil, because the oil is still like salty, and then you just drain that. You just take the big chunk, and then you take the sauce, and you make a sauce. So
Put some of it in there.
thank you very much.
You can put it right on the metal. Yeah, that's fine. Perfect.
Okay. Now we're gonna use that for sauce because it is deep. Okay, for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna put like so pretty much you don't need a lot of oil, just like little bit. You might need like a quarter of like 3 tablespoons, no 4 tablespoons pretty much. that you might need for the sauce. So you don't need a lot of oil on it, just a little bit. Because some oil is here. So you're gonna just leave that to get hot for a little bit again, and then you're gonna add like a sauce on it, and then after that, when the sauce is done, and then we're gonna take after the sauce done, you're gonna cook like safu, and then you're gonna start cutting your yaka, and then ready to go. And then I will show you how to set up the plate too.
So excited. I'm so hungry.
I know.
It smells really good.
It was so good last time.
Oh, thank you very much.
This is where we wish you could all be here with us to taste it at the end.
So now you wait, thank you. So you wait for the oils to get hot. You can hear the sound, and then add onion.
Yeah, so there's the stuff that we forgot, I think, in the recipe. So make sure that if you're taking notes, you're gonna add that onion in step 3.
Pretty much doesn't matter.
Okay.
You can do after later after, or you can do that. It doesn't matter. For that, it doesn't complicate it.
I think we just forgot to write about it in the written recipe. So if people are following this, it doesn't actually say onion anywhere. So we're just reminding people that now we've added it.
All right, thank you. So after that, you're gonna add make sure like adding like sauce on pan.
Smells so good. This is where I wish people could have smell-o-vision, like we could pipe smells through your computers.
That's your next task.
That's my next thing to figure out. Yep.
That's how it looks like the sauce.
Wow.
So you didn't really cook the onions for very long at all. You
No,
just
just
sort of
long because yeah, just for a little bit.
Mhm.
Or you can do this, or you can do this. Or like you can do onion for a little bit, and then add like a sauce for after. Or you can do sauce and add like for that one is no whatever how you want to do that.
flexible.
Yeah. So when you make sauce, you just put like a low heat, like, and then wait for a little bit. When it's cooked, you add like a tablespoon for garlic. About 1 teaspoon for garlic, for onion powder, and then add a tomato paste. Yeah. So you don't need a lot, pretty much. You just need 1
And what does
tablespoon.
the tomato paste add? Does it add like a depth of flavor?
Yeah, you give like different flavor too. So add the tomato on there.
Don't worry about cleanup. Cleanup's all on me. You can just leave it on the side of the table.
Okay.
I like cleaning up. It's fun.
So we're done with this.
Anybody watching along at home have any questions at this point? While we're waiting for the sauce to come up to a simmer, it's a good time for questions. Happy to pass them along to Rodrick.
So if anyone has questions, just let me know, and then I can answer all your questions.
Could be about this recipe or other things you want to know.
So now we're done with that. So we're gonna add the cube on it.
And tell us about what is usually used in Congo for the bouillon cube.
Yeah, cube has like a different flavors. It has like different flavors. We have a cube for vegetable for vegetarian. We have a cube for chicken. We have a cube for seafood. So it's a lot of different cube we have with different flavor. So for this one, it's like a vegetable cube. You can use that for anything. So this one can go like whatever you're gonna cook. So is this one is like if you some cube when you can see they have like chicken, um, the shrimp cube. They have different type of cube pretty much. So for this one, it's much simple. Can go anywhere.
Okay. And it's Maggie cube usually.
Yeah, Maggie cube. Yeah. Or you can just Google, or you can go to Africa Market too. We have that over there too. So, we want to taste to see, taste the salt to see if the salt is enough or we might need. So, yep, need a little salt.
So you didn't get quite enough salt coming out of that oil from the fish, so you're gonna add a little bit more.
Sometimes it's a little bit tricky. So pretty much, I don't eat a lot. I eat a lot of salt. So some people don't eat a lot of salt. Some people might be enough, but sometimes you have to double check again at the end. So you might need more salt again.
Right.
So yeah, it happens sometimes. So I know it happens to everybody pretty much when they cook at home. So
it also depends on how salty you left your fish, right? Because you'll pour the sauce over the fish. And
so you have to make sure you don't add the salt you might need. So you add like a teaspoon. Okay, so based when I taste the salt, it looks like I don't need a lot of salt, so we just need a little bit more salt again. I may say like a half teaspoon. Okay. So make sure still. So the sauce is done. Doesn't take a long time. And then we're gonna move that away, and then we're gonna fry like Safu. So after it's done, that's how it looks like.
thick it up a little bit, but nice and creamy and red. Yeah, that tomato paste really adds that nice sweet tomato flavor.
Okay, so now we're gonna use the same pan we just put outside for Safu. I know it's gonna be too big, but
So we're just bringing the pan we used back to Safu.
okay, so now you're gonna put like, I know it's too big, but so we don't have to make too much dirty. So when she's gonna clean that, she don't have to do a lot of cleaning. So you don't need a lot of oil. So you just need like so I need so we're gonna just need 1 tablespoon for oil. So we don't need a lot. So make sure you flip all of the place. So that's when you flip that, that's what she looks like pretty much. So the oil is everywhere. and then you wait for a little bit. When it's gonna be hot, and then add salt, and then also, and then we're gonna start cutting the kwanga, and you can see pretty much. So I'm gonna move this one.
So many of our chefs are so good at clearing their workspaces as they work. It's great.
So pretty much when you cook anywhere, so make sure you break it down. The time is you so that way you don't have a lot of stuff to do. Yeah, it's coming hot. Okay, so this one can go. Get it ready to clean.
I promise I'll do all the cleanup though. You don't have to. It can all just stay there. Someone wanted to know what other meals you would use Safu with. Like, what else would you eat it with?
So Safu, you mix that. So you put salt and oil and you saute that, and then so that goes like yaka and saltfish and sauce together. So I will show you to at end like how to eat that.
So would you eat Safu with anything else, or is this like
yeah, Safu you can eat with bread.
Okay.
Safu you can eat with bread or yaka, or it depends like it's like from much Safu you replace like avocado.
Okay.
So yeah, Safu is like most avocado because we can eat that with bread. Yeah.
I almost wonder if they're related, like botanically, because they are like a very large pit, like stuff around the outside. Interesting. And kind of like an avocado, they're not really sweet, but they're not really savory. They're like...
So we're almost done. And then we're gonna put Safu, and then put just a little bit of water on it, like teaspoon of water, and then until it's done. So now it's already soft, you can feel it. So all the time when I do cook anything to make sure the oil is hot, it's very hot. So I make sure I put something small, and then when they start to cook, the oil when it start to get hot, you can tell, but that's a sign. Sometimes you might put your hands like this when you put something, and then it doesn't sit. So all the time you just whatever you cook, just put a little bit, and then you can tell you how fast it's going to be hot. So now I'm gonna put Safu. That's okay now. So I will need salt. I need a teaspoon of salt. And another thing you're gonna need is like this teaspoon of water. So you don't need a lot of water.
And Safu, is it very nutritious? Does it have like health benefits?
Excuse me?
Do you know whether Safu, do people consider it very healthy? Like, does it have health benefits?
Yeah, pretty much gives you too much protein.
Protein?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's good when you're lifting weight, eat a lot of Safu, helps you.
Okay.
Yep. So now it's done. So I'm gonna move that to pull down the pan.
We are not related. I've been Googling whether it's related to avocado.
Our supposition wasn't accurate, okay.
Well, it's compared to it like an avocado. It says like the avocado, it can be spread, and the texture of it is similar to avocado.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's plantly, botanically related.
So cool down the pan.
So that was quick, really just a few
Yeah, it doesn't
minutes.
take a long time. Just take like 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Doesn't take a long time. Okay, so I'm done. I'm gonna move that and then turn the heat off. Remove my pan. So now, the last step we left is to cut the conga.
We have this thing in English, do as we say, not as we do. So we told them to add the bouillon, it's fine. Yeah, we didn't actually add it.
Yeah, pretty much. We add that like for like this, as long as sauce is still hot,
Okay,
you can add that.
yeah, okay.
Move that, and I can have space here.
It can actually go right on the floor underneath the table because it's still pretty hot, so we can just move it onto the floor.
Yeah, some is in bottom, you can hold, it's not too hot. Yeah, some is keep hot.
Yeah, I just let it cool until the end of the night when I'm ready to leave. So hold on to it.
So
So we're going to show you the plating of all of this, and now is also a great time.
now I'm gonna change my gloves and start cutting yucca, and then show you how to plate. Okay. Thank you. So we're gonna find a bowl to put yucca.
Oh, a bowl? Sure.
Yeah.
Yep, the closet right behind you there. On that middle shelf. The rest of this meal is so impressive, but I think this is actually my favorite part of the yucca. It's so interesting to me.
So yucca, that's how it looks like yucca. So it's like a yam, like cassava. So you just cut, you peel like the leaves, and then when it's still fresh, and then you you peel the skin, and then you leave down water for a week, and then it's gonna be soft. And then after that, it's a lot of steps to make panga. So you take on a pan like oh, what do you call that? When you leave that for a week, and then you take a pan, you leave that, you take the water, the liquid comes with yucca, like cassava, like it's gonna look like roux at the end when you leave down water. So after that, you drain the water, and then you're gonna left the roux is gonna be very soft, and then after that you cook that halfway, and then you mix that, and then you cook there again, and then after when you're done, so you can open it.
It's a very involved process.
So you can understand why we didn't show that whole
Yeah.
prep on screen here.
So that's how it kind of looks like.
And tell us, where did you get this? Who
So-
prepared it?
This one pretty much Africa market too. If you go to Africa market, that's where you get everything you want. Like in North Street, in Burlington downtown. So that's how you get pretty much everything. So you take the leaves, that's just banana leaves, they wrap that. It's very good eat with meat, fish, soup, like, yeah.
When we had some of the leftovers after the test cook, I actually turned it into a dessert. I don't know if that's ever done, but I mixed in some coconut milk and some coconut sugar and heated it up, and it almost made like a, not like a rice pudding, but like a pudding. Yeah, it was interesting. It's very starchy and sort of mochi gelatinous.
Yeah.
It's good.
Totally.
So you take the leaves, you put down compost. So you just need the
I can
Okay,
tell
so-
you work in lots of kitchens.
yeah. So you're gonna weigh the towel. So all the time when you cut corn, you will need to put the towel like wet and then you clean.
Because the knife will get sticky.
Yeah, it's like when you cut sushi.
Yeah.
You need a knife to be wet. Some people dip in water, so this one's much better. Like you just clean and then you cut. So you go again. Each time when you do that, you have to make sure the knife is wet.
Yeah, if I was going to compare it to something, it's kind of the texture of like mochi, or
Yep.
it's a very sort of
And then another part I was showing is real quick.
We're just letting another towel bring over.
So make sure I'll just show you the demo for when you cut something, like pretty much to make sure you put like wet towel on bottom. When you have a cutting board at home, that's the thing you have to make sure. So you put like wet towel in bottom, and you put on top. You can feel the difference. It's not gonna move like the way it was before. So make sure the cutting board you put white towel or whatever. You can put like a paper towel on bottom, so you can start like to cut something. So you cannot do mistake or cut your finger or your hands like your cutting board moves. So that helps the cutting board to be in a good position.
great. Good tip. Professional tip.
Good. So we're almost done.
Gloves get sticky too, right? Just holding it.
Yeah. Yeah, always make sure like because if it was like before I get cooked, I can touch my hands. If it's something they're gonna eat right away, I have to use gloves. Okay, so that is done. So I'm gonna keep cutting again, small pieces. Sometimes I stick for a little bit, but you need the towel to be a little bit wet. So you put that on pan. So sometimes you cannot see at the end, like you have a little bit leaves left, banana leaves left, so you make sure you move that. Or you can move by with knife. Okay, so now we're done. So we're gonna start set up to show you. You see the difference when I cut something. My cutting board was not moving, so that helped you. So to cut anything, so that protect the cutting board is not gonna move like a lot. It's still like in one place pretty much.
Someone is asking, how long would the cassava keep after you've made it? Like, if you had those wrapped up like that, how long will they keep in the fridge or?
In the fridge, you can. It depends. It depends. It depends on in yam. So because when you make kwanga, each kwanga has different we call it in yam. So it's like it depends on which yaka. Because if you put down you might leave that like for 3 to 4 days too. 3 to 4 days that works too. But I never put out but we should leave in the room temperature. Yeah. And then after that for 3 to 4 days, and then it helps it can be good. And then after that you take out. So if you want to eat right away, you just go to microwave. So you make sure you move the foil.
Yeah.
So and then you just leave like the leaves, and then put microwave. So you don't have to do that microwave with like the way it is right now. Just take the foil out and then put microwave, so the leaf can stay.
Nice.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna set up now.
This is the really exciting part that Terry was saying. And I think it's your background from culinary school shows the way you make a plate looks so nice.
Yeah, so I will need spoon. We'll take
Over
spoon.
here.
So I want to make sure stir that first before I put down the pan. So you go. So sometimes it happens by me messy, but I make sure like you clean the side. Okay. Okay, so you take saltfish. And then you take Safu, put on side. And then you take fennel for garnish. So I'll leave down in ice. So that way, when I leave down ice, it's hard, and then it's gonna take a form. You can feel it. You can come and feel it. See how you see that, the one we used to have
Oh,
before.
yeah.
You see the difference?
So before it was all wilted and soft. And
So you
now
leave down the water, and then after you get a foam, so it sits back in life again. So that's what we use for garnish.
That's a great trick to know.
Yeah, whatever is how it was, like you leave that ice bucket, and it's gonna be new, like very new. Okay, so clean the side, and then I'll show you how to eat that. Okay. So now we take a piece of yucca.
Do you want to hold it up maybe close
Yep.
to the camera?
That's how it looks like.
Beautiful.
It's so pretty.
Great.
So that's how it looks like. And then what you're gonna do is, so you don't have to eat with gloves.
This is your plate. Take a seat.
So my hands still clean, pretty much because I washed that many times. So I wear gloves, but I have to make sure to wash it again, so you don't have just to eat right away right now, because your hands get sweaty inside. So you have to make sure you wash your hands to help you in a good health too. So I'm gonna go wash my hands. Now I'll just show you the demo, because some people, when they take gloves, they just take deep, they just take right away and eat. So you don't have to do that too. So you make sure, like I just did, so if you did, I might make you sick, like you make sure your hands is clean and you wash your hands, and then you take piece and then you dip, add Safu,
So yeah, you can see it's sort of a very soft outer flesh that you almost just pinch off.
and then take a piece of saltfish, like piece of saltfish, and then you eat.
So you
It's
get a
very
bite
simple.
of each one.
When you bite, that's how it looks like inside. Looks like you might say like the way avocado looks like. This one avocado for me is like almost like family, because we eat that with bread.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it looks like inside. Thank you very much
Yeah.
for everybody watching me.
People are saying thank you so much for sharing. They really enjoyed this demo. You are an amazing presenter. All sorts of good thank yous coming through.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it a lot. So next time we're gonna do something different.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So if nobody has any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the event there. But thank you all so much for coming. And I will send a survey out tomorrow. I'd love to know more about what you thought about this class and other ideas for classes you'd like to see. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you, Rodrick.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rodrick.